I've read a lot about love and romance, and these are themes I find myself coming back to again and again, usually in a comedy kind of a way. It's really interesting to me because falling in love is this thing that everyone does, but everyone does completely differently. So it's really universal and it's really specific at the same time, and that's really fascinating to me. So I'm just sort of exploring some of the different ways that does or doesn't happen, or leads to complete disaster, all of that. This was a bunch of shorter plays of mine that got put together, and they were written at all different times over a long period of time. And then we sort of picked ones that ended up having thematic correspondences and put them together, and then also added the music. So it's really totally different than anything I've done before, and it's really fun to work on something like this. Nicole first had this idea to put some of my 10-minute plays together and do a reading. Several years ago, they did a first reading of just the plays without any music, and then also did a workshop production a couple of years ago with the music. And one of the plays in that didn't really feel like it was working, so we swapped it out for a different one, and then also ended up adding an additional play to make it a little bit longer, make it feel a little bit like a complete evening of theater. And then what I did when I knew that these were the plays we were going to work with was I went through and sort of made these little connections between them with character names or references, so that each of the plays references at least one of the other plays, sometimes more than one, and they're all sort of happening in this world where there are connections and things are slightly tied together, even though each of them is really a distinct entity that isn't necessarily related to the others. I always wrote. I wanted to be a writer since I was like 7 years old, and I started writing plays in late high school and college, and just thought it was so much fun to get that immediate audience reaction. Like, even if we would read one of my things aloud in a class and the whole class would be laughing, it was just this immediate feedback thing that was so fun to me. And that immediate feedback and the collaborative nature of working with other artists on something was so much more rewarding than just sitting at home writing fiction. I mean, I still do that too, and I love doing that, but I also love working with other people, and just the rush that I get sitting in a theater when something is being performed in front of an audience and everyone's laughing and everyone's having a great time with it. It's the most exciting thing I can think of. The first thing I wrote, well, I remember the first play I wrote, actually. I mostly wrote fiction and poetry when I was younger, but I wrote a play about people in hell who decided to go on strike because they didn't want to be in hell anymore, and they wanted hell to be nicer and have more comfort. So I was about 10 years old, and I wrote this, 50-page play about a strike in hell. I was so excited to have the chance to work with Project Y. I've seen all the Project Y shows in the city over the past few years, and Project Y is just such a professional company, and just they have so many talented people that they work with, and especially in a show like this, it's really fun because, I mean, I'm really excited to work with Nicole. We've worked on a lot of readings and shorter pieces before, and it's great to be working on a full production with her. She really gets my work and does such a great job with it. And then just a show that has such a big cast with so many actors like this, it's fun because there's just so much talent. And then they're all musicians too, and it's really amazing. I get in the rehearsal room and there's just so many people who are so talented in so many different ways, and it's really cool to see that and have them all working on this thing that I wrote. It's amazing. It's been great. It's been really fun so far. It's great to have a show in New York. This is my first production in New York. All my productions have been regional so far, so it's really cool to have something that my friends can actually come to see, and people can come see it, and I can be really involved with the rehearsal process, and I just feel so good about it. I mean, I would be recommending it to people if I weren't involved with it, you know. I think people are going to really like it.